Help! I've fallen and I can't get up. Please, can someone help me? But Marianne's cries for help fell on deaf ears, as packs of wild animals and their howls could be heard getting closer by the minute, putting her in a life and death situation. Does she keep reaching for help at the risk of sounding the dinner bell for every hungry predator in the area? Or does she remain quiet until someone finds her, hoping the frigid night air wouldn't cause her body to slip into hypothermia? But as the moon made its way across the sky, she was convinced it would be her last time marveling at the twinkle of stars like diamonds splattered across the blackened night, while visions of her beautiful family and all 6 of her grandchildren raced through her mind, praying to God that she could spend just one more holiday with them, instead of being out there alone, shivering for warmth, and unable to pull herself to safety after taking a nasty spill. But little did Marianne know at the time how this life and death struggle behind her forever home in below freezing temperatures with predators circling closer would lead to a life-saving answer for men and women over the age of 60 who are deathly afraid of falling, are prone to falling, or already have in the past. A powerful 10-second fall prevention ritual shared by one Harvard evolutionary biologist that instantly makes your body fall-proof within minutes. A ritual so powerful, yet so easy. It'll quickly erase your fear of falling as you notice the strength in your feet. Legs and balance increase with each passing day, and the stability in your lower half becomes so strong. It'll feel like you're walking on solid ground for the first time in years. Yet not only that, you'll be going up and down stairs and walking effortlessly again like you were decades younger. You see, despite what you might have been led to believe, the real cause of trips and falls has nothing to do with getting older or slowing down. Instead, it all comes down to one thing: sleeping nerve in your foot that's responsible for over 97% of trips and falls in those over 60. And according to the likes of Harvard and Cambridge University, this same under-the-radar problem in your foot that's responsible for 28,000 deaths from falls each year in older men and women will double your chance of taking a nasty spill that requires invasive surgery and months of rehab after a certain age. But don't worry, friend, because the beauty surrounding this simple, yet life-saving 10-second ritual is that it doesn't matter how old you are. If you're overweight, bedridden, have arthritis, or you're on a laundry list of prescription medications, this 10-second ritual will revive the dead nerve in your foot to automatically spring into action and contract the muscles in your leg to catch you. And while you're standing or walking, you'll ensure the strength and stability in your lower half feels like you're 20 all over again, so you can walk easily again and without worry. Like Jane from Florida, who says, "Once my husband died, I was scared to do things around my house because I was alone and always felt shaky on my feet. It gave me a lot of anxiety, even doing the simplest of tasks. But now, I breeze through chores, errands, and without the help of my walking cane. I feel so stable and nimble now." Or John from New Jersey, who says, "After my scary spill and trip to the ER, I wasn't myself for over a year. I feared walking down the stairs in my 2-story house, so I slept on the couch most nights. It felt like I was losing control of my life and that my time was up. But now, I'm back in my bed and that fear is gone." Or Lana from Texas, who said, "My mom has fallen several times over the last 10 years with numerous injuries. Besides her fear of heights, she's developed a fear of falling so severe that she was deathly afraid to even sit at the edge of the bed. But thank God for this. It's given her life and freedom back. So just imagine the confidence you'll regain in yourself to walk around the house and go about your day without the fear of falling, tripping, or tumbling down a flight of stairs. To never have to worry about falling if you're alone in your home or outside and end up in the hospital. Or just imagine enjoying the special gift that is your independence for years to come, all because you've brought this one fall prevention nerve back to life that blocks you from crashing to the floor. Yet not only that, with each step you do take, this important nerve will make the smallest millisecond adjustments in the muscles of your lower leg to guarantee you never slip no matter what shoes you're wearing or what terrain you're walking on. Exactly like your body's own form of traction control. and it's so easy to turn on with just the flip of a switch. This simple 10-second ritual that could very well save your life has absolutely nothing at all to do with seeing a doctor, a physical therapist, visiting a chiropractor, being in the gym, using special orthotics, or buying a certain cane. In fact, this sweat-free ritual can be done in the comfort of your own home while watching TV. It's that surprisingly simple and effortless. It's why the medical professionals who rely on the pain and suffering of those 2.8 million souls who fall every year and need surgery than physical therapy would love for this to come down, because it takes away from money going into their pockets. Just last year, the physical therapy industry made $43.5 billion. And where there is money, there is power and a special interest. And these individuals are much more powerful than me, so they would love to take this down. Yet despite this risk, I refuse to let them stop us from sharing this life-changing news with you here in this special presentation. Because this completely safe and 100% natural shortcut to fall-proof your body has now turned around over 112.928 other men and women's lives in as little as 14 days, while removing the lid of fear and anxiety that's dampened their vitality and zest for life. It's why I feel the need to share this with you today, because it would be a crime to keep this secret locked up and hidden from prying eyes. That's why in the next 4 minutes, I'll show you why your fear of falling is 100% justified and that it's not just in your head. I'll also show you the 3 biggest mistakes and lies that could actually increase your chances of falling by over 96%. And if you've fallen in the past already, increases your chances of falling by over 200%. Like this one mistake, according to a study out of Auckland, New Zealand, that most trainers and therapists make with balance programs that actually skyrocket your chances of falling, even if you're just getting up from the couch. I'll also reveal the one modern-day foot cover-up that numbs your body's ability to catch yourself if you do trip or slip. Plus the biggest lie millions tell themselves every day about falls, that breaking research shows to be 100% false, and I'm sure is the same lie you tell yourself every day about your situation. Along with the ultra-powerful, yet very simple to do 10-second ritual that reawakens this one important nerve in your body, so you'll instantly feel safer and more fall-proof by tonight. Not only that, I want you to know I'll also be sharing the airtight scientific studies about these findings with you that reveal what you're hearing is truthful and correct. That's why I urge you to read this special report right away if you can. Over 100,000 people have, and benefited immensely because they no longer live in fear and are more confident, active, and happier than ever before. Their relationships are stronger, their passion is back, and they feel as stable on their 2 feet as a 2-story brick house. But what really allows them to sleep so soundly at night now is the chance to always remain independent and never rely on others, as the fear of losing their self-reliance that blanketed their body from the minute their eyes would open has been lifted away. And why I urge you to keep reading this, because what I'm about to share can save your life or the life of someone you know and love. On this page, I'm opening the door for you to no longer live in fear and hold yourself back as you sit on the sidelines and watch life pass you by. I'm giving you the chance to end this silent suffering and get your life back without having this whispering fear in your ear, as the mundane sadness of a safe life on the couch is replaced with a more active, energetic, happier time while guaranteeing your independence. Just imagine how much more joyful you'll be and feel. What activities could you do again? And what this powerful self-reliance could do for your relationships, so you don't feel like a burden on those close to you. Everything is about to change for you here, right now. So let me quickly tell you who I am, because time is ticking and I'd like to share all of this with you right away. If you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, I encourage you to do so and turn on notifications so you never miss a video. Your support really matters to me. And if you found this video helpful, please help me continue sharing valuable lessons by liking and sharing it. If you enjoy this topic, please comment 9. If not, comment 0 so I can improve and make better videos for you. Hi, I'm Chris Wilson, and out of the hundreds of balance clients I've worked with over the years, and thousands I've helped virtually, Marianne's story is the one that sticks out in my mind the most. Not only because what happened to her could happen to anyone who is prone to falling, yet because she was the toughest case I ever came across. But out of her near tragic accident, led to an amazing discovery that I can't wait to share with you here. Now, I want you to know I'm not a doctor or a TV expert. I'm just a happily married man of 15 years with 2 beautiful kids and a resident of the Sunshine State. And I've personally seen the consequences that falling could have on you and those that love you. Even a simple little fall can have a ripple effect that tears up your life for years as you go in and out of rehab, and sometimes forced to make drastic life changes like giving up your home and having to be placed in a nursing facility. And that's not even counting the cost of everything: the physical pain, depression, medication, and loss, like it did to our family growing up, which pushed me into the field of helping those over 50 live a healthier, more active, and energetic life, and why the art of balance has become my passion. As a certified balance specialist, I've seen it all and heard it all before, but not until I stumbled upon this simple 10-second ritual you could do in the comfort of your own home that I discovered across the Atlantic Ocean in the unlikeliest of places. Did I have any idea how much easier it could be to essentially get back what you had in your teens, 20s, and 30s, when you were more agile and quicker on your feet and way less likely to experience a tragic trip and fall? In fact, the more prone you are to falling, even if your fear of falling is cranked up 1,000 decibels, the quicker this simple trick will work for you. And if you have fallen in the past already, then you'll really love how much stronger and stable you'll feel on your feet, no matter your age or situation, starting with this 10-second ritual. Because you see, although Marianne was extremely active and had been to over 25 countries with her husband, as she got up in age, her body slowed, which is completely normal. However, soon, this gradual slow down became front and center one night when she got up from the dinner table and accidentally tripped on the front of her foot and fell. At the time, everyone chalked it up to an accident. Many people trip and fall every day of all ages. However, soon, this one trip and fall turned into another, then another. One day, falling down the steps of her basement while being stuck on the cold, dirty floor for 2 hours until her husband came home. But when her husband passed away not too long after, that's when she made a risky move that much of her family was against, and decided to spend months alone at the country house they built in Connecticut, and where they fell in love so many years ago. Now, because of her recent accidents, everyone made sure her home was as fall-proof as possible. For example, every path in her house was cleared. If the surface was slippery like her hardwood floors, they installed special rubber matting. They also added rails in certain parts to help her feel more stable, especially in her bathroom and shower tub. Plus, bought her one of those stability balls so she could do exercises to strengthen her balance. But still, even with all these safeguards in place that helped her feel safe on the outside, she still was deathly afraid to fall on the inside, especially now that she was a widow. It's why her family made sure to check on her all the time, and why they could never imagine what happened on that night did. So if you or someone you know can relate to any of this, believe me, you're not alone, and whatever you're feeling and has happened already is not your fault. What you might be going through is completely normal and justified. Being scared of falling is okay. And if you've fallen already, hey, I get it. Even with all the special tools you can set up around the house, and even if you follow most balance training programs, still it's so hard to return back to the freedom of movement, confidence, and independence you remember not too long ago. However, that's why I'm here to tell you it doesn't have to be like this for you anymore, and why I'm so excited to share this 10-second fall prevention ritual with you here in this page. More on that in a minute. Thank God that Marianne was found by her neighbor who was returning home late from a hunt that night only because his ATV broke down miles in the woods. However, once at the hospital, the doctors explained if she was out there another 2 to 3 hours, her body would have succumbed to hypothermia. Besides, the fact that her body temperature was dangerously low from being exposed for so long. She had fractured 3 small bones in her ankle while searching for river stones in the dried-up creek bed that ran through her property. It's why after this incident, her daughter decided enough was enough and contacted me at the Punta Gorda Club where I worked and Marianne belonged in Florida. She actually had found me online in one of my videos about balance. Plus, with my background in over 11,000 hours helping men and women just like her return back to their lives again, I was confident I could stop her from falling and remove the fear she felt every day. But how? I wasn't sure yet because deep down, I felt I needed to look at this problem from a totally different angle. Her fear was so suffocating. She told me the only place she felt safe was in her bed at night. Yet despite this, she refused to be a slave to this fear with every step she took. And although she was grieving the death of her husband, she didn't want to be that old, lonely widow who held guardrails in her hallway just to walk to the kitchen and make tea. To her, that was a reminder time was ticking and she would gradually lose her independence, which she hated to think about. It's also why she did her balance exercises every day to slow down this progression. But now with her broken ankle, I knew we had an uphill battle because the statistics weren't on her side. Her life was literally hanging in the balance, as you'll soon notice right now. Because you see, after working with hundreds of balance clients in person, along with peering through all the research and stats, I knew once someone over 60 took a nasty spill that resulted in injuries, surgery, and hospital visits, your chances of not making it out of the medical system plummet. And it's why your fear of falling is 100% justified, no matter what anyone tells you. You see, not many know this, but every 11 seconds, someone over 60 in this country falls, which results in a trip to the emergency room. And every 19 minutes, somebody dies from a result of their fall. That's a whopping 28,000 deaths each year from trips and falls. Not only that, if you do slip and fall, according to the data, your chances of winding up in a nursing home triple. And if you fall more than twice in 1 year, according to the research, your risk of passing away within the next 5 years increases by over 200%. That's why I want you to know your fear of falling, even if you haven't taken a nasty spill, yet is 100% normal and okay. You're not alone, and it's not your fault that you feel this way. But don't worry, my friend, because you do have hope. So please keep watching, because I'd love to share with you 3 very common mistakes and lies you're most likely making or believing that increase your chances of tripping and falling without realizing it. Plus the simple, yet very powerful 10-second fall prevention ritual I now have all my clients do in the morning, including Marianne, that's returned her ability to walk with confidence and strength without being suffocated by 100 pounds of fear with every step around the house or outside. 3 biggest mistakes and lies that could actually increase your chances of falling by over 96%. Number 1 common mistake. The first big mistake I've seen over the years is the overuse of balance exercises, stability balls, and Bosa balls. You see, these exercises and devices are great for those who are in phenomenal shape. But if you've lost the mobility, strength, and balance in your lower half, along with your confidence, these exercises and devices can actually increase your chances of falling. You see, without the proper progression, these devices and programs train your balance to become worse by first, making the ligaments and tendons in your ankles looser. And over time, as you can see here, trick your lower half to anticipate a lack of stability, especially in your feet, making it easier for you to roll an ankle or trip over yourself. Plus, they fail to train the number 1 most important nerve in your foot that's responsible for firing the muscles that help you walk confidently while protecting you from crashing to the floor. Number 2 common mistake. The second biggest mistake that's severely affecting your balance and stability without realizing it. And that's the shoes on your feet. You see, your feet have thousands of little nerves to sense the ground you're walking on. However, by wearing shoes our entire lives, these nerves have lost touch with the ground. They've dulled and become slow to respond. So when you do accidentally trip, it's harder for them to fire the muscles in your feet and lower leg to catch you. Especially this number 1 most important nerve in your foot that's like traction control for your body, sensing every subtle change in the ground while making the adjustments that prevent you from slipping and falling without thinking about it. Now, you could start walking around barefoot to roll back this progression, but that's not practical and could be dangerous. I'll show you why in just a minute. I'll show you why in just a minute. Number 3 common mistake. The biggest balance lie millions believe is that older men and women have a higher chance of falling all because of their age. Luckily for you, this belief is 100% false. I've seen it firsthand with clients all the way up in their 90s who regain their quick-footedness, balance, strength, and stability like they were decades younger. You see, getting older doesn't guarantee that you're more prone to falling. It's just a myth because if that were the case, millions more would fall every year and unfortunately pass away from these injuries. When really, it all comes down to this one nerve that's been turned off from decades of lost touch with the ground. And this isn't just hearsay you see. It was during a recent trip to Switzerland to attend a world-renowned conference on balance that I discovered the missing link to a fall-proof life. All thanks to one evolutionary biologist from Harvard University who presented his findings from a recent study done in Kenya, where they studied the older men and women of tribes who've walked barefoot their entire life. They wanted to compare their feet and nerve perception with the ground and how they walked versus us over here, who primarily wear shoes since the day we're born. This professor and his team believed these men and women in Kenya would have less perception with the ground from their thickened soles and therefore would walk differently and often have a higher incidence of falls with age. However, what they found was despite their feet being 50% more calloused, the perception their feet had with the ground was 3x stronger than us here. He also found they had almost zero incidence of trips and falls, especially as they got up in age. It's a big reason why you see men in their 60s, 70s, even their 80s still hunting with the younger men of the tribe, while the older women would routinely walk through the rocky terrain to harvest their crops and gather water, no matter their age, all completely barefoot and void of dangerous trips and falls. I was shocked and knew this information could be used to help my balance clients back home. But I needed to know one more thing, because just walking barefoot after decades of being in shoes wasn't practical and could increase your chances of falling because your feet wouldn't be used to this change. Plus, it can be tough on your feet to walk everywhere barefoot. And in public, it's not always allowed. Well, luckily that night at the hotel bar, I got my chance because there he was enjoying a drink by himself. So I went up and introduced myself. I told him how much I loved his presentation and that I had just one question for him. I said, "Dr. James, obviously what you said could help so many, but how?" Because walking around barefoot for these men and women over the age of 60 wasn't practical. So was there anything I could do to help my clients get their life back and rebuild their stability, strength, yet more importantly, their confidence to walk without being consumed by fear? He said, "Yes, Chris. Unfortunately, I didn't get to that part in my speech. They cut my time in half. But yes, your clients can enjoy the same fall-proof benefits those in my study had in Kenya without walking around barefoot 24 hours of the day for years. Chris, there's an inner nerve in your foot called the deep peroneal nerve that's responsible for firing all the little muscles in your foot, ankle, and lower leg that basically catch you from falling, while helping you remain upright and stable with each step you take. In those we performed this study on, we found this nerve in their foot was turned on 24/7. However, in most of the population after the age of 60 back in the States, this nerve usually begins to fail for most, which explains the skyrocketing increase in trips, falls, and hospital visits. Did you know how many lives could be saved each year if people just woke this deep nerve from its slumber? Thousands, Chris, let alone all the money saved for physical therapy and surgery. And it's so easy to do. He pulled up a picture on his phone and said, "All it takes is 10 seconds with this special little rubber ball made with hardened particles designed to shock this nerve back to life." And by shock, I don't mean an electrical shock. All you have to do is sit down in a comfy chair and roll this special little ball on your foot for at least 10 seconds in a specific motion to stimulate this sleeping nerve out of its coma. It's actually quite relaxing and therapeutic. That's it? I said, "Yep, that's it, Chris. Time for me to get some sleep. I have an early flight tomorrow, but I hope that helps, and thanks for attending my presentation." We parted ways, and immediately I went up to my room to begin hammering out a plan Marianne could follow that wouldn't put any stress on her fractured ankle while giving her the chance to become more stable, resilient, and nimble on her feet as she walked. And it all started with this very brief, yet very powerful 10-second ritual to awaken this deep nerve responsible for keeping you upright and fall-proof. In fact, after discovering this, I realized how backwards most balance programs really are, because you can do all the squats, one-legged holds, and more. But if this nerve in your foot isn't activated, nothing is going to help prevent you from falling. It's like building the foundation of a house without concrete. It might look stable on the outside, but one small gust of wind and everything will fall to the ground. I shared with Marianne this breakthrough information and told her to just trust me, that everything will be all right, and eventually the guardrails in her home that reminded her of her age would be taken down. She looked at me, and with depressed, sad, lonely eyes, agreed and said, "Okay." And in that moment, I felt her pain. This poor woman had been through hell in the recent months. And if this didn't work, who knows what would happen to her? So as the months passed, and Marianne performed her rehab while following this special ritual every morning, we were getting closer to the day for her to stand on her own without a boot or assistance. And on June 28th, that day had come. I was grateful enough she allowed me to accompany her and her daughter to the hospital. We all had put in so much work together and just prayed for her success. And now the time had come. We all sat down, and like a gift from heaven, once they removed her boot and Marianne stood up and took a step, all of us flashed infectious smiles from ear to ear. But Marianne was the one smiling the most, because just like that, she was walking again. And not just baby steps, but a full, strong gait with plenty of strength and conviction. However, what got my hopes up was the difference she could feel in her feet and the ground. She said, "I could feel my toes and foot muscles firing and working, like they're stabilizing my entire body." From there, we began increasing the amount of time she used this special little ball on her foot, then added in some very precise movements to further accelerate her results, which I'll share with you in a minute. And with each passing day and week she came into the club, I could see her confidence growing by leaps and bounds. Until one day, she came in with her tennis racket. I asked if she was taking up a new hobby. She just laughed, smiled, and said, "Chris, I never told you this, but I used to play tennis all the time with Mike, her husband. We play at least 3x per week. It brings a smile to my face. But since his death and my fall, I thought I would never play again. But now, I have the confidence to play without the fear of falling like I did for so many years. I also planned a trip to hike the Grand Canyon. I'm leaving in 3 weeks with my daughter and her husband. I can't wait." Seeing Marianne's transformation filled me with so much optimism and excitement, because I stumbled upon something so incredibly simple that you would never believe could work. But it did while being supported by mountains of research, according to this world-renowned evolutionary biologist from Harvard University. However, to really make sure this worked and Marianne's success wasn't just a fluke, I decided to recruit over 100 men and women online and over the age of 60 who scored high on the fear of falling index, even if they've never experienced one or have in the past that resulted in injury. About 100 of these little custom miracle balls, shipped them to each individual, and told them to follow the same protocol I created for Marianne, which started with this 10-second ritual every morning. And after 14 days, 96% of all 100 men and women reported feeling stronger on their feet and more stable with healthier mobility. A few even commented how they tripped but caught themselves. Not only that, I had each individual take another fear of falling questionnaire, which measured their confidence walking while going about their day. And every single person whose score indicated they were deathly afraid of falling before, especially when they were alone, decreased by over 92%. And now, almost all 100 participants are skipping about and enjoying life again. Their fear is gone, and their life is back. In fact, those who feared the most and had fallen multiple times in the past noticed the greatest turnaround in their symptoms as their confidence level shot through the roof. I knew what Dr. James told me was now 100% undeniably true, because the proof was in the pudding. This could work for anyone regardless of your age or situation. And why I'm sharing this amazing story with you is because I don't want what happened to Marianne and many other clients to happen to you or somebody you love. A simple trip and fall might not sound like a big deal to most, but for you, it can be terrifying and deadly. But now, there's no reason to live with this fear tapping you on the shoulder every minute with every step around your home. That's why I've decided to no longer keep this information and program to myself and clients. Every year, 2.8 million fall. Every year, 800,000 of these men and women end up in the hospital from these falls. And every year, 28,000 die from them. But with this simple protocol now, and all the amazing success stories that have reclaimed their life and confidence, I believe this number can be cut in half and eventually down close to zero. This has become my life's mission and why I'd love to introduce to you neurobalance therapy. With neurobalance therapy, you'll revive your body's natural ability to move around feeling strong, stable, and balanced with each step, whether you're in your home or out and about. And it all starts with a wildly simple 10-second ritual using this weird-looking rubber ball every morning before starting your day. This life-saving protocol, steeped in real-world results and groundbreaking research, has been combined in one to get you back up and skipping around like you were years younger without the fear of falling haunting your every step. And just so you know, this has nothing to do with signing up for a gym, visiting a chiropractor, physical therapist, doctor, or buying a special pair of shoes. What this protocol does is take you by the hand and gently guides you through the same program to revive the deep peroneal nerve in your foot that supports stable, long-lasting balance regardless of your age or situation, all in the safety of your own home. And it can be done in just a few minutes per day, even while you sit and watch TV. You don't need to be a fitness expert or an exercise junkie, even if you've never stepped foot on a treadmill in your life. You can get started with this simple protocol in the comfort of your surroundings to enjoy better balance and stronger stability right away. I'll be with you every step of the way, because in the end, living in fear is no way to go through life, especially when you no longer have to. I know it can be scary, but I promise, just like these others, this fear will float away like dust in the wind as you begin waking up every day feeling more balanced from the minute your eyes open till you're back in bed. Each step you take will feel strong and confident, especially when going up and down stairs. Jennifer from Ohio. The last 6 months have been brutal. I took a nasty fall one day walking down the stairs to grab laundry, and I've been scared stiff ever since. Literally, my fear took over and I stopped being social, and I stopped all my favorite hobbies too. But now with neurobalance therapy, that fear is gone. I can't believe it was even there in the first place. I'm back to walking up and down stairs with a breeze and back to enjoying life again. Thank you so much, Chris. Steve from New Mexico. I'm 81 and have fallen twice in the past year. My kids have pleaded with me to move in with them for my own safety, but I refuse to give up my independence. I don't want anyone watching every move and step I take. But luckily, that's when I found this video and your program. I'll admit, I was skeptical at first, but now they can't argue with my results. I no longer feel shaky or unstable when I get up and walk, even if I've been sitting in my recliner for hours watching TV. Thank you for this freedom, Chris. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch this video. If you feel that the message in this video is meaningful and could benefit the community, please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the channel so we can spread positive values together. Your support is a powerful source of motivation for us, helping us keep improving and delivering even more valuable content. Wishing you peace, happiness, and inspiration in every day of your life.